Hello friends, and welcome to the Hanged Man in the Moon. If this is your first time here, welcome. Thank you for coming. I'm pleased to meet you. If you've been here before, thank you for returning. I'm truly honored. Friends, I have got something special for you. At least I hope you think it's special. I hope you think it's a treat. I've got a deck here that came from Kickstarter. And this was a campaign that was created by Museo Internazionale dei Tarocchi, which means the International Tarot Museum in Italy. And I have another deck from them, a beautiful deck called Tarocchi Fine dalla Torre, which is a wonderful deck. It's got art paper per cardstock. It's an Italian version of Tarot de Marseille. This is not Tarot de Marseille. This is different. This is a deck which is really intriguing, and I got as perhaps a study/teaching deck. It's a deck which purports to be a combination deck of both the Order of the Golden Dawn Tarot system and what I would call the Continental Tarot system, but the creators of this deck call it the English-French system, which predates the Order of the Golden Dawn. Now, English-French pre-Order of the Golden Dawn systems are not uniform. Yeah, they're different. There's not one system that was arranged and has not been and was not deviated from, right? We were still working things out. And then later on, the Order of the Golden Dawn created a system of esoteric attributions for each of the cards with the planets, the zodiacal signs, the Hebrew letters, etc. Yeah? So this deck purports to have a combination of two different ways of approaching tarot. So, the special thing, the treat, I think, is I am going to bring in two decks to do a side-by-side comparison with this deck. Yeah, one of them is going to be, to represent the Order of the Golden Dawn, the Harris Crowley Thoth Tarot. Now, why did I choose that instead of the, for example, Smith-Waite deck? Well, the benefit that the Harris Crowley deck has is that, except for just a couple of small changes, and yes, I do think they're important but small, where the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, the Smith-Waite deck, does not have associations printed on the cards generally. Right? We don't see the planets, we don't see the zodiacal associations, we don't see the Hebrew letters on most Smith-Waite decks. We have all that in the Thoth deck, the Harris Crowley deck. And yes, the Star and the Emperor card are switched, and yes, the Justice and Strength cards are numbered differently. So Justice and Strength are 8 and 11 instead of 11 and 8, right? Except for those differences, I think that is going to be a more representative deck, visually representative deck of the Order of the Golden Dawn Tarots. For the Continental Tarots, I'm pulling out my Tarot of the Holy Light, which has all the information printed on it as well, and follows the French, Spanish traditions, right? So, we're going to do a side-by-side. I hope that's interesting for you. If it is interesting for you, hang on. I'm going to turn the camera down and we're going to take a look at some decks. Are you all ready? Here we go. Friends, all that I've done so far is take the stuff out of the cardboard box and remove the bubble wrap. I don't know how the deck is packaged inside of here. I might have to stop the camera, pause the camera, and do a little bit more unwrapping as we get into this video. What we're going to do first, I'm going to show you how I received this, all the items I received, because they're much more, and I'm more impressed with what I received than I had expected. So I want to walk through this stuff really, really briefly, and then we'll go into the side-by-side. Okay? So the first thing I want to show is this pamphlet. This is a pamphlet for Museo dei Tarocchi, the International Tarot Museum. And this is in Riola in Italy. And it says here, the museum is set in an enchanting historical building from the 1600s, which has been completely restored. It nestles in surrounding woods between Bologna and Pistoia. Each visit will be a delightful surprise and a personalized experience, and in fact, will accompany you on a mystical journey inside the forest of symbols. So, friends, I'm just telling you, I am going to visit this place the next time I get to Italy. I've got to go because this really looks like a wonderful place. Again, it's in Rioja. Here's the phone number. Here's their mobile phone. Here's their email address and their website. I highly recommend their decks. Like I said, I have their Tarocchi dalla fine de torre, which is wonderful. So they produce good work, and they also have a museum, which looks wonderful. And yes, I'm going to go here. So we had this pamphlet. Wonderful. We also have this book, which I don't know. There might be a book inside of here, but we do have this book. Pontifex Tarot by David Allen Hulse and Neil Orange, maybe. And inside, okay, so we've got an extra card, it looks like. Here's what the back of the extra card looks like. We have Rota, we have... Okay, so we have the Tarot, we have Rota, we have all the letters, right? And the front, what is this? So here at the bottom, we have Keter, which is the top of the Tree of Life, right? It's the top Sephira, which is crown, mystical, sure. We have a little Tree of Life here. It says it is the first Sephira, that's right. We have Aleph. We have, okay, so this might be the Ace of Swords. What do we have here? We have Aleph, He, Yod, He. I'm not sure why we have that. But this looks like the Ace of Swords to me. So we'll get into this stuff later. This looks like the glyph for the sun. Yeah, we'll get into this later. But so this is an extra card, which is interesting. If this is the Ace of Swords, one of my cards for this month is the Ace of Swords. So there you go. Okay, so we have that. We have, okay. We have a Tree of Life. I think this is the best way for you to see it. Yeah. Now, here it says the Tree of Life. This is the Kabbalistic key according to the French tradition. Okay, so this is going to be different from the Golden Dawn's orientation. Let's see. And so we have, where's the Emperor? Let's see, the Emperor, the Juggler, the Popess, the Emperor is number 13, which is where? No, wait a second. That looks like, just a moment. The Emperor is card 14. Yes, okay. Yes, so this is the Emperor, card 14. So this is not the Golden Dawn placement, right? We have the Hierophant up here. We have the Lovers up here. So this is quite different. But good. Very, very good. And it will be this is a good comparative study tool, which is the reason I got this. Okay, let's set this aside, because it looks like there's something else in here. What is this? What is this? This is, let me guess. It's the Golden Dawn? Yes, okay, so here's the Tree of Life with the British tradition. Okay, so the Emperor is here, right? Here we have the Fool, we have the Magician, we have the Empress, we have the Emperor. This is Golden Dawn tradition. So having both of that's wonderful. Having both of these charts here for reference is phenomenal, fabulous, wonderful. Yay! Okay, so good stuff. And we have a bag. Oh, well, no, let's keep focused, Mr. Thomas. The book. So what's the book about? What's it all about, Alfie? We have an indice prefazione nel orange. Okay, so we have it in Italian and in English. So because this book is split in half, there isn't that much content here, right? Let's see, Paggio di Spade, we're still in the Italian section, which I could work my way through, I'm sure. Where are we? Blah, 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 blah. Where does the English start? Ideogramma. Okay, so here's the beginning of the English. It feels like there's much less content for the English section. Let's see. What do we start off with? We start off with a preface in English by Nil Orange, which I'll read a little bit of it. The Pontifex Tarot aims to bridge two traditions. To accomplish this task, it is conceived in two different approaches. The first, consisting of 78 divinatory cards, follows the British tradition in the order of the trumps and the use of color according to the system laid out. That should be by, not bay, the order of the Golden Dawn. So there will probably be little itty-bitty English errors in this. We've got one right now, but that's not going to be a big problem. The second realized in the 33 symbol-laden meditation cards for 22 major arcana and the 10+1 Sephirot directly gives an entry in uniting the different traditions of the British and French school. Figure 1A and 1B, page 39 and 40. Okay, so that's the reason why the Italian section seemed larger. It's because the figures... I see. Okay, so because of the figures. Let me just pull those figures up for you. 39 and 40. Page 39 and 40. So here's page 39, the Popessa, the High Priestess. So here we have English and Italian on the same page. And page 40, we have the Priestess of the Silver Star. La Papessa come parte della carte per meditazione Pontifex. The High Priestess as part of the Pontifex meditation cards. So there might be, it looks like the major arcana will not be doubled up. I mean, will not be... what am I trying to say? It looks like there will be a set of cards of major arcana from the Golden Dawn tradition, and then there will be cards from the other tradition. They might not be combined, which is what I was kind of hoping for, but we'll see. Okay, so this is the book. We have a preface by Nil Orange. We have how they're bridging the two traditions, which I'll have to read separately. This is a little bit too long to read the whole thing on camera. We'll discover this so that it includes Atea. We have Eliphas Levi. Yeah, so we'll move quite through this. Here's a list of the trumps, the letters of the... So this is the Golden Dawn. Yeah, magician is Aleph, the High Priestess is Bet. In the Continental Tarot, often the magician will not be Al. Oh, wait a second. No. I lied to you boldly and with vigor. This association is not the Golden Dawn association. This is more of the Continental Tarot. Yeah. So the magician is Aleph, and the fool, interesting, is Shin, which is where. But interesting. Just a second. This is interesting. Gotcha. Okay, so we've got both. Yeah, this is the French or the Continental Tarot with the Fool between Judgment and the World. Now, I like having the Fool at Tav and the World at Shin, but this is very, very accepted. practice for Continental Tarot to put the Fool between judgment and the world. And on the right, we have the Golden Dawn, where the Fool starts with Aleph, the Magician being Bet. Just for clarity, I prefer these associations to these associations. Just saying, just so you know. Friends, my phone is being strange. We're probably going to have to film this in bits and pieces and paste them all together. So, the book. This is a good book. We talked about the associations of the Hebrew letters. Then we have meanings for the cards here in this book, which is good. So this is going to be a very helpful book. Maybe not as much information as I had hoped there would be, but good. If you are, I'm just going to say, maybe this is not the best deck for a beginner. Maybe somebody who's intermediate to advanced would get more use out of this because you'd already have a foundational knowledge of at least one of these two systems, right? So, great book. And we have a bag here, and it looks like this box will fit all the way into this bag on its own. Let's see. And it looks like I am wrong. Okay, so this bag is not for this box, but it's a nice bag. It's durable. Inside is pretty basic, but very good bag. And it's nice to have a bag. Maybe the cards are huge. We'll have to see. Let's look inside the box. Love this wood box. Love the seal here. Okay, so it's not the most expensive of wood boxes, but it's a beautiful box. And I love the stain on the front of the box, on the cover, on the lid, which slides out beautifully. Yep, here's the lid. There we go. And we've got some dusty stuff coming out of the box. Okay, some paper. And here is the deck. Here's the deck. I'm curious, will the book fit inside of the box? It will not, which is a little bit disappointing, but okay. So we've got the deck in the box. We got some straw in the box. We've got what? We've got a card of authenticity. This is number 62 of 500 copies. There will be a link in the description box below if you want to order this deck. So yeah, authenticity. This item is handmade. Every possible irregular effect have to considered as characteristic and not defects. Thank you for your choice. So what they're saying here is that if things are a little bit wonky, that is a feature, not the flaw, right? So, box, lovely box, put that aside, and we're going to get into the deck. Let me take my knife to this plastic, and I'll be right back. And I'll set us up for the side-by-side, yeah, and maybe get rid of this dust. Here we go. Friends, I'm not exactly sure how we're going to do this now because you can see that the deck I got is a really, really chunky deck. And there really are two completely different sets of cards. So let's see how we end up doing this. So here we have the title card, Pontifex Tarot, lovely. That extra card and the back of the extra card and the back of this deck looks like they're going to be the same. Pretty basic, but good. And so, let me just take a peek into what looks like the second part of the deck. Okay, so what do we have here? We have, okay, there's that, what looked like the Ace of Swords. What is this? This is the Magician. There's the Fool. There's the World. Okay. So, I'm going to readjust this camera. Just a second. We're going to do a side by side, I believe. Let me see how we're going to do this. For the Major Arcana, at least. So here we have the Thoth deck by Lady Frida Harris and Aleister Crowley. Here we have the Tarot of the Holy Light by Christine Payne Towler. And here we have 2 decks from the Pontifex. And let's get rid of that title card. And let me move the Fool up to the front. Okay, so probably just for the Major Arcana, we're going to do it this way. Okay, so these are the cards that they called the meditation cards. The backs of all the cards look like they are the same. Yes, they are all the same. They're all just like this. Now, this is what the backs of the cards look like. And you can see here on the Fool, we have Aleph there. The number is 0. But here we have the Fool being both Aleph and Shin. Now, on the Tarot of the Holy Light, the association for the Fool, I think, is Tav, but I don't see it on the card. Let me see. So yeah, she didn't put the Hebrew associations on the cards for the Major Arcana. But what else do we see? Okay, so here we have the Fool associated with air, right? Here we have the Fool. Now that's interesting. This is tough. It's not Aleph. Here we have Bet. Okay, so it's all very interesting. And I guess I need to see the book. Here we have the number 0. Here we have what? We have an alchemical symbol. We have the lemniscate. We have air. No, it looks like earth. Right? Sorry for that. So for the Tarot of the Holy Light, the Fool is associated with the sun. That is not Mercury. That is the monad. It looks like the association here is Earth. That's interesting. Okay, so here we have air. Here we have nothing besides the Aleph and the 0, right? Okay, but we do have 2 images. This is kind of a Smith-Waite version of the Fool. This is more of a Tarot de Marseille version of the Fool, right? Okay, so let's see, how am I going to do this? My goodness, I'll just put the cards down here. They'll be partially off camera for you. I hope that doesn't bother you. Here we have the Magician, right? The Magician, the Magus, associated with Mercury here, Bet. But here we have the association here should... Okay, now my brain is all messed up. My brain is all messed up. What am I looking for? So this is Bet. The Fool is, this would be Aleph, right? This is not Aleph, this is Shin. This should be Aleph. This should be Aleph here in the continental tradition, but it's not, it is Bet. For example, here we have Shin, right? We don't have anything here, which is interesting. Okay, that's what's confusing, because, let's see, what is the next one? So it looks to me like we've only got the first card having the Continental Tarot Hebrew associations. Let me look at the book briefly. Okay, so here we had what we had in English. the associations, right? We had the magician being Aleph in the French tradition. But I don't see an Aleph on the card here. We have Hokmah. Well, that's a little disappointing. That's a little disappointing. I was hoping that both there would. Okay, so let me tell you what my psyche had hoped for. My psyche had hoped for there being only one set of the major arcana. And probably I just did not read the Kickstarter closely enough. I thought the major arcana would all be this. My other hope on the major arcana was that there would be both Hebrew letters on each of the cards for this part of the deck. But it doesn't look like that's the case. I don't see... It looks like elemental association for this card is air. Is fire. Where Christine Payne-Teller associated the Magus with air. Mercury here. I don't see... There's no Mercury. This is going to take some working through for me. But the cards are beautiful, right? Here we have Binah for understanding, for the High Priestess, right? Oops, let me give you the High Priestess from... I love this card from the Tarot of the Holy Light of the High Priestess. Yeah, I love the light pouring out of her breast. I love that she's between two candles. This looks a little bit like the Strength card to me, just saying, because here we got a lady and a lion, right? But it's not. It's number 3 in this. Well, hold on. Right, this is 2, this is 3. Card 1 was... Okay. So this is 2. Oh, this is so confusing to me. I probably shouldn't... I'm probably not capable of doing a walkthrough of this deck. So let's just look at it together. So let's look at the Empress. Here, what can I tell you? That's got to be the Empress. That's got to be the Empress. Which means I've got a High Priestess either missing or in the wrong place. The World, Judgment. The Empress, Emperor, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 0 is the Fool. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so this deck is more confusing than I had originally thought it would be. So here is our Fool with Shin. Here is another Fool with Aleph and Shin. Aleph and Shin. Okay. Here we have the Magicians. That's got to be a magician, right? This is a magician with Bet and Aleph. This is a magician with only Bet. Okay, so I'm going to pull these cards aside and let's... Wow, okay, so I don't know what these cards are. I don't get it. What are these cards? These cards are... Let's see, here's 0, 1. These cards are... Go from the Fool to the Magician to it looks like the Empress, the Emperor. This looks like it might be the... That does not look like the Hierophant or the High Priest, but it's number 5. Number 6, I don't know what that is. Number 7. Are these just for the Sephira of the Tree of Life? Maybe with cards associated with them? Okay, so I don't get this. I really don't get this. So I'm going to set them aside and Maybe at a later date, if I use this deck on the channel, I will try to explain what we just saw. But let's go back a little bit. Okay, I'm sorry, friends. I know this is weird. I told you that this deck was, I think I told you this deck might be beyond my capabilities, and here we go again. So this is beginning, this will probably make more sense. We got the same figures here. Fool, fool, right? Aleph, Aleph, and Shin. So, and we have the association here of air and fire, which is interesting. Yeah. Now this might be the sun, but it might not be. I'm not sure what this, if this is just the number 0. Probably is just the number 0. Okay, so let's do this. So here we have the magician, both the same card. What I will probably do in the long run is I will take these cards away and replace these cards with these cards when I use this deck. Because these cards have, this card has this information on it. Yeah? So I don't need this card, these cards in the deck. Here we have the magician with the wand, right? We've got the cup, very Rider-Waite-Smith, very Smith-Waite. Here we have the association with Bet, but here we have the association of Aleph, which is the one I prefer. You have air, and for the Magus here we have also air in Christine Payne-Towler's deck. And here we have the Magus associated with Mercury, and we have Mercury here. So here, okay, I'm starting to feel a little bit more comfortable. I'm starting to feel like I know what I'm doing again. So the images are Smith-Waite, the associations are Golden Dawn, and the Continental Tarot, which I think will be very similar to the Tarot of the Holy Light, but we will see. We'll check for differences a little bit. Okay, so here we have the High Priestess, looking like the High Priestess from the Smith-Waite deck. I really love Christine Payne-Towler's High Priestess here. We have the associations here of Gimel. Now, I haven't memorized all of the Hebrew letters, so I'm going to stop telling you the names of them. But there's this one, and then we have Bet here for the High Priestess, which would be the same as here. Here the associations are all the moon. So we've got the moon crossing all traditions here. At least all traditions represented here. I also love the Thoth High Priestess, I gotta tell you. I love the Diana's bow. I love the net being in front of the High Priestess instead of the screen behind. There are a lot of things I really, really love about Lady Frieda Harris's artwork. Although my first deck is always going to be, now I don't know what this letter here is, right? There was a key here, there's a letter here. And on the next one, the Empress card, we've got a clover for good luck. What is this? It's like there's an egg for the Fool. Is this, no, eggs? There are no eggs in Lenormand. Okay, anyways, so we've got the Hebrew association here, Venus. Now, Christine Payne-Towler associated them, Venus for the Empress. Venus for the Empress. Venus. No planet here. No? Interesting, we've got different placements here on the Tree of Life. Interesting, nice to have those shown. And here we go with the Emperor. I love Christine Payne-Towler's Emperor with that Jupiter, that hair. It's just lovely. And you can see here, we see the difference strongly here in the Emperor. The Golden Dawn system has Emperor associated with Aries, right? Now, why is this letter? Because Lady Frieda Harris and Aleister Crowley switched the placement on the Tree of Life of the Emperor and the Star card. So this is the Tzidi, I think, is the Hebrew letter that will be on the Star card in this deck. But the planet is still Aries, but in the continental tradition it is Jupiter. And in a way, I prefer Jupiter for the Emperor, right? The Emperor God, the Emperor human. Here we have the Hierophant, or the High Priest. The Hierophant. Interesting coloration on the card. We see that this one is associated with Taurus, like in the Golden Dawn system, but here it's associated with Aries, like in Christine Payne Towler's deck. Now, we've got He here. She also uses He for the Emperor. I'm sorry, the Hierophant, the High Priest. And here we have, I forget the name of this. It's a prod. It's, anyways. So like I said, I haven't memorized the names of the Hebrew letters. I love the artwork in these two decks. I really love the artwork. Honestly, the artwork in these cards, not so much, frankly. But I didn't get this deck for the artwork. I got it for the side-by-side comparison of systems, right? And for the use of color as well. And the book will probably explain the use of color nicely. Now, it's interesting. We've gone from a fairly Smith-Waite Hierophant here, right? To a very Tarot de Marseille lover card, right? Lover, we've got both ladies and the gentleman in the center. We got the Cupid above. Very, very Tarot de Marseille style. We have the differences in the Hebrew letters. This is associated with Taurus, just like Christine Payne Towler, but this one is associated with Gemini also, as in the Golden Dawn system. Fascinating. Can you notice a little bit of the color palette similarities? Probably that color palette similarity will be stronger when we get into the minor arcana. Here we have the Chariot card. Chariot, very, I don't know, Smith-Waite? Yeah, Smith-Waite style Chariot, I guess. Kind of a fusion, maybe. Interesting that the Sphinxes here are standing up. A little bit like the Harris Crowley deck. Associations here of He here, and here we have another one, a different one, which here we have Gemini and Cancer, right? Now you might be, if you're used to the Golden Dawn, you might be saying to yourself, how can the Chariot be Gemini? It's got to be Cancer. How can this one, look at this next one, it's got to be Leo, right? It's got to be Leo. But it's not in all systems. And it's very interesting because, okay, so here's where I knew there would be differences between this deck and this deck as well. So here we have Leo, just like the Golden Dawn. Now here we have, that's right. So, that's why. Okay, so let me pull out the Strength card and put that here and put this here so that these decks match. Let me pull out the Lust card and put the Lust card here and the Adjustment card here. Okay, so that these match. Good. So, back to business. We can see this Hebrew letter is correct, is the same. Now we have Leo here, Leo here. Here we have Mars, and Mars for the Strength card. Right? What would you say this is a Smith-Waite image of the Strength card? Probably. I love the Lust card. I love the, what do we call that? It's the Grail, the Holy Grail, with the snakes and the 12 beams of light, that we have the 7 different heads of the lion. It's just a phenomenal, symbolically rich work of art. Also this, lovely, she's feeding the earth from her breasts. So her hair is fire, reminding of the fiery planet of Mars. We got the volcano exploding. Yeah, beautiful deck. And here we've got the Daughter of the Flaming Sword. Now, this Daughter of the Flaming Sword, I believe, is the title. Maybe is it the title of the Golden Dawn cards? I'm not exactly sure. Okay, so here we go with the Hermit. Yeah, here we've got Leo. We've got this letter here. Here we have Yod and Mercury and Virgo. Right? So that's interesting. Virgo and Leo are separately associated. Above, I haven't been mentioning these all the time, but here we have an hourglass for the Hermit. For strength, we had a column, which is appropriate because some old strength cards had a woman instead of a lion, but a woman with a broken column, right? Hourglass, time. We have the laurel wreath for the Chariot, right? Very good associations. And here we have the Wheel of Fortune. Now, the Wheel of Fortune is associated with Jupiter in the Golden Dawn system. You can see that. But here it's associated with Virgo, which is interesting, right? And here we have Yod. This would also be Yod. Placement, and we have the compass here for the compass, drawing circles, drawing cycles. Maybe I'm reaching to get that one. I'm not exactly sure why. The artwork on the Wheel of Fortune is very peculiar, right? Instead of having three creatures, we've got the Sphinx-like creature up on the top, but we've got what looks like Atlas on the bottom, right? Atlas, the one holding the earth on his shoulders, is Atlas, right? Very interesting. Here we have the Oops, sorry. I moved on too far. Here we have Justice, right? So they placed Justice at 11. And yet we have the association of Libra here. The Hebrew letter is correct for the Golden Dawn, and it's correct for the continental system, which associates Justice with Cancer. A very, very Smith-Waite version, but also altered, right? We have the curtain parted in the back, which is interesting. The balances are balanced. The sword is pointing directly up, which is nice. We've got pillars. So we can get a kind of amalgamated image of both Tarot de Marseille and the Smith-Waite cards in this Justice card to me. Of course, Crowley has retitled the Justice card Adjustment, right? Which I like. Frankly, I really like that. I've been working with the Crowley system for almost a year now, and I've really come to appreciate it much more deeply. Here we have the Hanged Man. Yeah? Subtitle is The Spirit of Mighty Waters. Above we've got a dove, which makes me think of Venus. I'm not exactly sure why we've got a bird flying up for the Hanged Man, but we've got the association of water here, whereas in the continental system and in the Tarot of the Holy Light, we have Libra for the Hanged Man, which you might be saying, no, Libra has to be Justice. But no, here, Libra is the Hanged Man. A perfectly valid association. A balance of beauty, of finding harmony. And notice we've got two moons here on the bottom part of the tunic of the Hanged Man. Did you notice all those ofs in that sentence? Okay, so here we have the Death card with the the Ouroboros as a symbol above. We've got Scorpio for the Golden Dawn. We've got water for the continental system. Both of these have water. So the image is very, very Tarot de Marseille, right? Now, why water? Now, do you notice that Scorpio is a water sign? So we've still got a very elemental echo between both of these systems here. And then we move on to Temperance. right? Temperance or art in the Thoth system, the Harris-Crowley deck. We've got a cup above, which makes sense. Yeah. In the Rider-Waite's deck, we've got an angel-like figure pouring water between two cups. Here we have between two vessels, which is interesting because Christine Payne Towler gave us both. We got vessel and a cup. And here's a dove, okay, reminding us of Venus. However, the association here is Scorpio. Whereas in the Golden Dawn, it's Sagittarius. Interesting. So I've definitely decided for myself, I'm going to be removing these cards from this deck, and I'm going to be using these when I use this deck. Oops, sorry. Oh, look at that Dark Devil. Very, very dark. I hope you can see that. The devil is very Tarot de Marseille. No? Yes. Tarot de Marseille. Except we don't have the wand in the devil's hand, right? Although we do have a very strong indication of as above, so below, reminding us of the magician's pose, right? We also have what looks like Mercury's staff here, which is an interesting thing. Here we have the Hebrew letter associated with the Golden Dawn. And here on the right, just like, I love this devil image, right? Instead of binding these two, the devil creature is joining these two. They're coming together. And here we have Sagittarius. Whereas we have Capricorn for the Golden Dawn. And if we're really tied to Golden Dawn associations of the devil is a goat, it's got to be Capricorn. That's such a facile association. I'm sorry. I hope that doesn't make you mad, but to me that is such a facile association. There are things about the devil that can be very Sagittarian. Yeah, moving ahead, going leading the pack, going out to play and experiment and find out stuff, right? The Lord of the gates of matter, the materialization of stuff as well. Okay, so here we go with the Tower. And the Tower, we have very Tarot de Marseille Tower, right? I love this tower. It's a little difficult to see because there's so much here. But it's a beautiful, strong, powerful image of the tower in the Harris-Crowley deck. The Lord of the hosts of the mighty. Yeah? Hebrew letter associations. So we've got Cancer associated with the tower in this system. And here we have Mars associated with the tower. Very interesting. Interesting choices for associations, right? Oh, what did we have above? We did not... What did we have above the tower? We had, broken chains. Interesting. And we have an anchor at the top of the star card here, which is interesting. I guess reminding us of navigation and the sea, perhaps, maybe. But I immediately jumped to the anchor card in Lenormand, which would be stability and jobs and that kind of thing, right? It's interesting here. We've got 3 different Hebrew associations. Now, we've got the Golden Dawn association here, right? Now, remember, this one, the Emperor, let me pull the Emperor card out just briefly for you. Yeah, the Emperor had this association in the Harris-Crowley deck because, remember, Crowley switched the placement of the Emperor and the star because he heard the message that the star is not this letter. I'm sorry, the star is not this letter. Yeah? So, there we've got that. But the star, associated with Mercury here and with Aquarius here. Now, are you thinking, Aquarius, the star, water, Aquarius? Well, actually, Aquarius is an air sign, right? Aquarius is air, it's not water. So we want to remember that. Yeah, but it's the water bearer. But it is an air sign, right? So Mercury here is an interesting association. Love the butterfly here. Instead of the ibis on the tree, we got a butterfly. Transformation, hope, perhaps. Here we've got the bird. No bird in the Harris Crowley deck, right? Very interesting. Very, very interesting. We've got the 1 foot on land, 1 foot in the water. We can see that here as well. I mean, it kind of looks like both of her feet are in the water in the Tarot of the Holy Light, but we can imagine that this foot is partially on land as well. Maybe both feet are partially on land, partially on water. Oh, and look at that. I hadn't noticed that before. Here we've got Mercury's staff here. Oh, that's cool. I hadn't really seen that before. Okay, so moving on to the moon, my favorite card, one of my favorite cards. That is why I am the Hanged Man in the moon. And we have a moon like Tarot de Marseille here. The association is cuff, but here we have the association that was the Continental Tarot. This one is associated with Aquarius for the moon, whereas here we have Pisces, which is an interesting switch. We have the theater masks, and theatricality is also a part of the moon associations for me. Ruler of flux and reflux, which makes me think acid reflux, which is not a pleasant association. Not that I suffer from it, but I've had that feeling before. So it means something else here, yeah? Change and return. Interesting. I don't know I'll have to figure out what these squares here are. And hexagrams? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, yes, hexagrams and cubes. Oh, no, that is a cube. That is a cube. I'm sorry. These 2 cubes. Probably Platonic and something I have not studied yet. Okay, so here we have the sun. Here comes the sun. Very Tarot de Marseille sun in the new deck for me. We have the association of the sun for the sun in the Golden Dawn system, but here in the Continental Tarot system we have Pisces. Isn't that interesting? Now the sun being that depth of intuition. Here we've got what looks like a solar glyph at the top. Lord of the fire of the world. Collective. Interesting. Very interesting. Okay, and then next would be the Judgment card. I love this Judgment card. Tarot de Marseille style Judgment card here. We've got a bird ascending, maybe a phoenix, perhaps, as the glyph above. We've got the association of fire here. But here we have the association of Saturn for Judgment, which is interesting, yes? Hebrew letters are different. Here we have Shin, but here we have this letter, which is the Continental Tarot. And finally, the World card. Yes, the World card. We've got, it's hard to see, I'm sure. We've got the 4 cherubim, the 4 winds, the 4 fixed signs of the zodiac here in the corners. We got the lady with the banner and the 2 wands. I love this World card. But I also love this World card, right? Kind of reminds me of Sophia standing on top of the world. Associated with the fire here. So there is a difference here. This is a sun association here. This is an association of fire. Or here we have Saturn for the world. Which do you prefer? Does the world seem Saturnian to you, or does it seem something else? Yeah? It's a good question to ask. And let's see, that's the end of the story. Now remember, the Fool here was associated with the sun, and here we had the world associated with the sun. Here the Fool was associated with fire. Here we have the world. Where are you? The world associated with fire, right? So this is the difference between the Continental Tarot system as described by Christine Payne Towler, and the Continental Tarot system as described by the creators of this deck, right? But that switch is not uncommon. It's not uncommon. That switch is also in other decks in the Continental Tarot system. The Fool and the World card get switched out. It's not an uncommon thing. Okay, so here we are, the Fool. I pity the Fool. And we're going to now move out of the major arcana. And I'm going to pause here. Yeah, I'm going to pause here because it looks like this deck is out of order for the way I would like to present the minor arcana. So let me reorder the deck here, and we will look at the minor arcana. Okay, here we go. So friends, I've zoomed us back in because we don't need the extra space because there are only 3 decks out concurrently. Now I reordered this to be the way I like to present, which begins with wands, then cups, then swords, and then pentacles. Because I like to move from fire to water to air to earth. That's the way I've organized the elements, and that's the way that Kabbalah actually organizes the trees of life. You know, the trees, there are 4 different trees of life that move from the fire tree to the water tree to the air tree to the earth tree. Yeah, so that's how I've got it all arranged in my head. And we start off with the Ace of Wands. Now you'll see that the color palette here is going to be, should be matching the Order of the Golden Dawn. But what do we see on the card? We have W for Wands. We have A for the Ace. We have Fire. You'll notice that you can read with reversals here. Although it's a little difficult, you'd have to memorize that the light one is on the top and the dark one is on the bottom to see how the reversal goes. Now it looks like this is going to be a very pip deck, just so you know. I love Christine Payne Towler's art, I just gotta say. I just love the work that Michael did on that deck. Now here we go. Here's where we begin to have associations, because for the Ace here, all we have is the association of fire. Now, in Christine Payne Towler's deck, we actually have Aries ruled by Mars, which is a natural pairing, right? Mars and Aries. Aries is the domicile of Mars. It's also the first decanate of Mars. Here we have the 2. Now, here we have Mars and Aries in the 2 rather than in the Ace. So it looks like as in the Golden Dawn. Now the Golden Dawn places all of the elements together as one in the Ace, whereas Christine Payne Towler did that placed all the elements together in the 10. And I'll see what we mean when we get there. But so for this deck, here we have Aries, Mars and Aries, right? Here we have the Sun in Aries, which is an interesting difference. Here we have the Sun in Aries for the 3. Here we have Jupiter in Aries. And here we have Venus in Aries. Now let's see what the next card is going to be. Yeah, the next card is going to be Venus in Aries. So the associations here are going to be very Golden Dawn, right? For people who read with traditional triplicities, which means that each one of the signs has 3 houses, and each one of the houses has a planet for the same element of the sign. So for example, Aries. Aries has 3 houses. The Aries house, the Leo house, and the Sagittarius house. The planet for Aries is Mars, so that would be Mars in Aries. Leo would be the sun, so that's the sun in Aries. Sagittarius is Jupiter, so that is Jupiter in Aries. Now, that's the way I learned and I read I prefer to read zodiacal and planetary associations with the minor arcana. Now it looks like this deck is going to be completely Golden Dawn associations, but you'll see that there are also variations, because here we have Venus and Aries. Oh, Venus and Aries, right? For the 4. For the 3, we had the Sun. Oh, wait a second. I was off. I was off somehow. So, yes, let me go back. I was off. Mars and Aries, Mars and Aries. Sun in Aries, Sun in Aries. And here we have Venus in Aries, Venus in Aries. Okay, so definitely Golden Dawn. I prefer the Continental Tarot associations. Personally, I prefer reading with traditional triplicities. Just saying. So here we have the 5. Now, like I said, absolutely a pip deck. Not Tarot de Marseille, but a pip deck. Right? The arrangement of the elements is not Tarot de Marseille style. Just a pip deck. But we do have the 5 elements. We have We have Saturn in Leo. Saturn in Leo. But I prefer Jupiter in Leo. Yeah? Oh, I'm sorry, no. I prefer Mars in Leo. Because Mars is a planet of the fiery signs. Right? Saturn is not a planet of the fiery signs. For me. Sorry. So here we have the 5 of Wands. I love Christine Payne Towler's work. I also love this one. I love the work by Lady Frida Harris. So here we got those reds and purples in this card as well as the yellows for the 6 of Wands. And the association here is Jupiter and Leo. And here it's the Sun in Leo. Yeah, Sun in Leo, that's me. And here in the 7, very plain pip deck. Love both renditions in both the Harris Crowley deck and in Christine Payne Towler's deck. Here we have Mars in Sagittarius, but here we have Mars in Leo. Interesting. Now, I haven't mentioned this yet on my channel. Maybe I did. I'm planning on, for a few weeks, I've been doing a deep dive into the Thoth deck. Maybe you already know that. And at the end of my deep dive, which is coming up pretty soon, I'm going to try pairing my Thoth deck with my Tarot of the Holy Light to see how the astrological associations either fight with each other or support each other or what. I'm just as an experiment for about 3 weeks maybe. I'm going to be ending up my Thoth deep dive with not a side-by-side, but a merging spread of the Continental and the Golden Dawn decks. And I thought maybe I might use this, but now I don't think I will. I'm not ready to use this deck. But here we have, yes, Mercury in Sagittarius, but Christine Payne Towler in the 8 of Wands puts the Sun in Sagittarius, which makes more sense to me. Just saying. For the 9 of Wands, love all of these. Especially love these two. Now the 9 of Wands. We've got the Moon in Sagittarius, which is a little odd. Yeah. But here we have Jupiter in Sagittarius, where Sagittarius is expanded by Jupiter. And that expansion can be a little bit overwhelming, right? You see the volcano erupting in the background. And here we have the 10 of Wands. And so, like I said, for Christine Payne Towler, she put all of the elements and signs for the wand suit in the 10s, whereas these two decks put all of the signs and the element of fire together in the ace and push the rest of the associations up one, right? And some people say, well, that's because the ace is the seed of all. But, if you think about it, here's the Ace of Wands from Christine Payne Towler's deck. Mars in Aries is the seed of the rest of the fire suits, of the fire suits, the fire element, the fire zodiacal associations for the rest of the year. Yeah. Mars in Aries is what starts it off. It is the seed for all of the fire zodiac. So we do have that here. And here, with all of them together, it's like the culmination. This is the final bringing together of it all, which makes sense for a 10 for me, before we move on to the next. So I prefer having these associated with the 10s myself. Just saying. Okay, so here we go on with the Princess of Wands, or the Page of Wands. Right, the Page of Wands. Now, this deck, the way it was ordered, all of the court cards were in front. And the court cards were ordered very interestingly. The court cards were ordered in such a way that it went Knight, Queen, King, and then Page. And for a second, I was thrown for a loop, but then I got it. Now, why? Because the pages in most tarots are the ones that are the representatives of and carry the information for all of the court cards. Yeah? Now, in this page, what do we have? We have Earth of Fire. This is also Earth of Fire. I believe this is also Earth of Fire. Yeah? This is associated with Spring. We have no other associations here. But we do have, interestingly, we have a geometric figure, which is, this is, I forgot my titles. This is, okay, well, it's a geometric figure, and it is significant and something for me to review. Okay, so we have the page, which carries all of the information of the court cards for the suit. Here we have the Prince of Wands. And the Prince of Wands is what? It is... Oh, we don't have the association. Well, for me, the Prince of Wands would be Heir of Earth. I'm sorry, Heir of Fire. Heir of Fire. And here we have the Prince of Wands, Sagittarius. Sagittarius. Here, I think we have Leo in the deck by Aleister Crowley and Lady Frida Harris. But here we've got Sagittarius and Scorpio, which is odd, right? We have another geometric figure, which reminds us of a purse, and I forget the name of it. Why do we have Scorpio and Sagittarius together? That's very interesting. It's because that's not air, it's water. Water of fire? I don't know. I don't get it. Okay, that's something that was going to take some study on my part. Interesting, we got that burning tower in the background. I love this burning gecko or fire lizard here in Christine Payne-Teller's deck. Okay, so for the Queen of Wands, here we have Aries. We have Aries here, but we also have Pisces, which I don't get. Don't get it. It's interesting, we don't have associations here, but I think Crowley also puts the Queen of Wands with Aries, from what I recall. I need to look at my books. Another geometric figure here. Lovely. But water of fire, we see the water here. Okay, so here we have the King. The King is Leo. I think it's Sagittarius in Aleister Crowley's deck. Here we have Cancer and Leo. For me, this would be Fire of Fire. The King of Wands would be Fire of Fire. But here we got another water. I don't get it. I don't get it. The Phoenix here, I don't know. Is that an association of fire to you, or air of fire? Is this air of fire or fire of fire? I don't know. To me, the kings are fire of fire. Just saying. And then we're going to move into the Ace of Cups. I love that Ace of Cups. Ace of Cups. Ace of Cups. I love this Ace of Cups too. Ruled by, for the Tarot of the Holy Light, we've got the moon in Cancer, which makes complete sense. Cancer is cardinal water, right? So it's the beginning of water. And the moon is in Cancer. It's the first decanate of Cancer. That makes sense to me. Now, here we've just got water, Ace of Water. Here, of course, we have, this would be the root of water, right? The root of the power of water, I should say. The root of the power of water would be the Crowley title. Here, I had not thought of that. I had not been looking carefully enough. Okay, so let me just pull out randomly. The Ten of Wands. The Ten of Wands. The Ten of Wands. Where are you, Ten of Wands? Okay, so, interesting. We've got the same title here. Oppression, oppression. How about for the Nine of Wands? No. Okay, so this is great strength, but here we've got, strength. Okay, great strength, strength. What about for the Eight of Wands? Swiftness, swiftness. For the Seven of Wands, valor, valor. Okay, so we've got the Crowley titles for this. Okay, wow. That's cool. That is definitely cool. I'm not really sure what to do with that now, but that is cool. So here we have the Two of Cups. Associations are, of course, different. We have Venus in Cancer, which doesn't make sense to me. Here we have Mars in Cancer, which makes sense because that is the second decanate, the Scorpio decanate of Cancer. Yeah, and Mars and Scorpio go together for me because I read with the 7 traditional planets. I don't add Pluto, Neptune, Uranus into my astrological associations with the Tarot. Now, charts are charts. Tarot is Tarot. Here we have, Venus in Cancer, just like this card. And love is the title. Abundance for the 3. Abundance for the 3. Mercury in Cancer. Mercury in Cancer. And for Christine Payne-Towler, we have Jupiter in Cancer, which again, for me, makes more sense. But yeah, I love the artwork in both the Harris Crowley deck and Christine Payne-Towler's deck. I love it all. Artwork here is interesting, I guess. Pretty basic. But I didn't get this deck for the artwork. I got this deck, like I said, for its associations. Abundance we had for the 3. For the 4, we have blended pleasure instead of luxury. But that makes sense, right? Blended pleasure, luxury. 4 of Cups is Jupiter in Scorpio, but here we have the Moon in Cancer. Because these decks are one off, right? Or the next card here will be Cancer. No, it's Scorpio. I'm sorry, the next card here will be Scorpio. Yeah, the next card here will be Scorpio. These cards are just one sign off. Although the planets are differently associated. Yes. Very interesting. Yeah, again, here we got Cancer and the moon. Where's the moon? The moon is here somewhere. Oh, up here at the top. The moon in Cancer. And the next card is Disappointment. I love that Disappointment card. Loss in Pleasure, Disappointment. That makes sense, kind of, right? We have Mars in Scorpio, which makes sense. Here we got the Moon in Scorpio because we've already had... No, we'll have Mars in Scorpio next. Here. Interesting. Interesting. I love... We've got that echo of the Smith-Waite 1 cup being knocked over here in the 5. This is one of the cups. So 1, 2, 3, 4. The big one here is 5, feeding all of the ones below. And one of them gets knocked over. The 6 of Cups. Here we go with pleasure, pleasure. And the 6 of Cups here. We have Mars in Scorpio, which we had in the previous cards here. Here we've got the Sun in Scorpio. Okay? Sun in Scorpio. Now, some people find cards like this one unsettling because of the green ooze for debauch. Yeah, illusory success is the title here. That's a Golden Dawn title, which you can kind of associate with debauch, I guess. The Seven of Cups. Here we've got the Moon in Pisces, which makes sense to me. That would be the second decanate of Pisces, the Cancer decanate. But here we've got Venus in Pisces. We've got Venus in where's Pisces? I'm sorry, Venus in Scorpio. Venus in Scorpio. Here we've got the Moon in Pisces. And indolence, abandoned success is the Golden Dawn title. Yeah, we've got Saturn in Pisces, but here we've got Mars in Pisces. Yeah, that Scorpio Piscean third decanate of Pisces energy. And then in the 9, we have happiness. Material happiness. And here we have the 9 of Cups, Jupiter in Pisces. Oh, we've got Jupiter in Pisces here too. That's nice. There's a little bit of a crossover here. Jupiter in Pisces. All that radiant liquid, golden liquid pouring from cup to cup in here. Very nice. Sun and Moon are all over the place in Christine Payne-Taller's deck. Lovely. And number 10 is Satiety. Preferred Success is the Golden Dawn title. Speaking of preference, I prefer Crowley, the Harris Crowley titles, frankly speaking. And we have Mars in Pisces. We have Mars. It's really small to see, but here's Mars, and I believe Pisces is down here somewhere. I can't see it right now. It's probably down here. I just can't see it yet. Anyways, so here we have all 3 of the water signs. Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces in the 10. Which makes sense. It's the fullness of the suit. So all of that comes together and enriches the 10. And gets ready to move on to the page, right? The page. Summer for Christine Payne-Taller. Earth of Water for the Golden Dawn. And for this one, I believe. Princess of Cups. Very Tarot de Marseille kind of styled Page of Cups, right? Here we have the print. Okay, so I said Princess of Cups. Here's the Prince of Cups, which is associated with it's Scorpio. This is associated with Scorpio. Here we have association is Pisces, which is the same as in Christine Payne-Taller's deck, Pisces. Which is interesting. And that should be Air of Water for me. This one, Air of Water. And here we have the Queen of Cups, which is Water of Water, associated with Cancer. Associated with Cancer. Here, I think she is associated with Cancer as well. Love that image. Love her too, Ursula, right? And the Knight of Cups, which is Fire of Water. And here we have Scorpio. Here we have Scorpio. I think he is Cancer. No, he is, let's see, what are the 3 signs? Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. I think he's Pisces in the Harris Crowley deck. Even though this crab up here throws me off, but I think he is Pisces. And yet here he is Scorpio. Okay, so we move into the Ace of Swords. Root of the powers of air, but here we have what? We have Venus in Libra. Libra is cardinal air, right? So the first decanate of cardinal air, Venus in Libra. Here we have peace for the 2 of Swords. Peace restored is the Golden Dawn title. And here we have Saturn in Libra instead of the Moon in Libra. And here we see the moon in Libra. Isn't that card rich for Christine Paintoller's deck? It's just fabulous. We have Sorrow is the Golden Dawn title for the Three of Swords. And here we have the Three of Swords being Mercury in Libra. And here we've got Saturn in Libra. A little bit more sorrowful, perhaps. I love the omphalos, the cosmic egg here with the serpent around being pierced by the Three Swords. But I also love the white rose being pierced by the Three Swords in the Harris Crowley deck as well. Truce is Four of Swords. Rest from strife. Truce, yeah? And we have Saturn in Libra there, which we had Saturn in Libra. Oh, no. Saturn does not belong in... Wait. Saturn in Libra. Did we have Saturn? Yes, we had Saturn in Libra in the Two of Swords here. But here we have Saturn in Libra for the Four of Swords. Whereas here we have Mercury in Aquarius for the Four of Swords. But can you see why I want to use these decks together? Because sometimes the planetary alignment is there, Jupiter in Libra, but it would be on a different card. So if they came up together, how would we read that? What would that mean? So that's what's really intriguing for me. That's what I hope to experience and what I hope to work through with you together in the last 3 weeks of my deep dive into the Thoth Tarot. Here we have defeat for the title for the Five of Swords. Here we've got Venus in Aquarius. But for the Tarot of the Holy Light, we've got Venus in Aquarius. Okay, so see, these four are all aligned. Right? So every so often, there will be cards that align between all of these decks. Six of Swords, Science, earned success for the Golden Dawn, and we have Saturn in Aquarius for the Tarot of the Holy Light. We have Mercury in Aquarius for the Golden Dawn decks. I really wish they would have put the other associations on this minors for this deck as well. But finding a concord for the Continental Tarot minors might have been really, really difficult. We're on the Seven of Swords. So we've got Venus in Gemini here, but we have the Moon in Aquarius here. Interesting. Futility, unstable effort for the Seven. For the Eight of Swords, we have interference, shortened force for the Golden Dawn. The association for the Golden Dawn is Jupiter in Gemini. Here we have Saturn in Gemini. I love this image. You notice this one sword is piercing the leaf with a little bit of blood. Very interesting. So, there's this gauntlet here, and there's a possibility of a wound. Here we've got thoughts are interfering with other thoughts, right? Okay, the next one is cruelty for the nines. We have despair and cruelty for the Golden Dawn. The association is Mars in Gemini, but here we have Mercury in Gemini. Now, Mars in Gemini, does that make sense to me? Does not make sense to me normally. Yeah. Here we have the tens. So we've got what? We've got ruin. We've got the sun in Gemini. Here we have all of the air signs together for Christine Paintoller's deck. Okay, so let's move on to the court cards. Page, love this page. Page of Pentacles. Just a second. Here we go. Page, okay, so I switched those out by mistakens. Okay, so Page of Swords. We have Earth of Air. Princess of Swords, also Earth of Air. This is associated with Fall for Christine Paintoller. Prince of Swords. This is always a card that's a little difficult on my eyes in the Harris Crowley deck. Prince of Swords, here we have the Knight of Swords, and we have the Knight of Swords. Love this Knight of Swords with that airy hair. Heir of Fire, which is Gemini. Here we have Gemini. I don't think this is Gemini, but I may be wrong. Here we have the Queen of Swords, which I think is Libra. Here the Queen of Swords, Libra. The queens all match up in all of these decks, right? Libra. Love her. Love her sword above her head. Love the Ouroboros. Love this deck. I love the Tarot of the Holy Light. So I am excited to bring it back out to work with my Thoth Tarot. And then we have the Knight of Swords, which is Fire of Air. And associated with Aquarius, I think this is probably Gemini. Maybe, I'm not sure. But these two decks are the same. Aquarius, Aquarius. Yeah? Okay, so we're here at the... Oh, I love this Ace of Pentacles. Or the Ace of Discs, I should say, for the Crowley deck. Here we have the Ace of Pentacles, the root of the power of Earth. And I love this Ace of Discs. Here she's associated with Saturn in Capricorn, which is cardinal Earth, and it's the first decan of the cardinal Earth, so that makes sense to me. Here we have the Two of Discs, which is Jupiter in Capricorn, which is change, harmonious change, Jupiter in Capricorn. For her, we've got Venus in Capricorn, the second decanate of Capricorn. Love those spirals, right? Just cool art. You notice that there is a little bit of similarity here between this one and this one. The stop pattern's are interesting in the new deck, right? Okay, so the Pontifex. Here we have works, material works for the Three of Discs or Pentacles or coins. And here we have Mars in Capricorn, and we have Mercury in Capricorn. Very interesting. Okay, so, and we have the Four of Discs, or the Four of Pentacles. Yeah, which, whoa, I want to change this one. I love this image of the four elements down here, the four discs, and the phoenix or the eagle being sitting on a nest of fire for to hatch her eggs, but that fire being tempered by the moon, the watery moon above. Such an interesting, rich image. And here we have Mercury in Taurus, but here we've got the Sun in Capricorn, right? The Sun in Capricorn for the four. For the five, we have in the Golden Dawn decks, we have Mercury in Taurus, but for the Tarot of the Holy Light, we have Saturn in Taurus, which would be the Capricorn decanate of Taurus, right? Material trouble, worry. Trouble, worry, you can see the echoes between those two titles, right? Success for the six, material success for the six. Six of Discs, we have Venus in Taurus, which is a natural placement for me. Moon in Taurus, a little bit awkward to me. Love these figures here in the Tarot of the Holy Light. Those solids, those complex solids. And the Seven of Discs, failure. Success unfulfilled. A little softer, but very similar to failure. And the association here is Saturn in Taurus. But here we've got Saturn in Virgo, right? Did we have Saturn in Taurus? Yes, we did. We had Saturn in Taurus for... We had Saturn in Taurus for the Five of Discs, right? Okay, so those crossovers are very interesting to me. Here we have the Eight of Discs, which is prudence. Association, the Sun in Virgo, right? But here we have Mercury in Virgo, which makes more sense to me, because Mercury is domiciled in Virgo for me, because I read with triplicities. Just saying. Notice how, all three of these decks have the coins or the discs lined up similarly, right? Two lines. And we have gain for the nines. We have material gain for the 9, and then we have the 9 of discs, which in the Tarot of the Holy Light is Mercury in Virgo. But here we have Venus in Virgo, which is actually a confusing thing to me, because sometimes I confuse the words Venus and Virgo. Just saying. My brain has that little problem. Love the 10 in the Tree of Life. I kind of wish this 10 were arranged in a Tree of Life fashion, but that's fine too. Like this. You'll notice both Christine Payne Towler and Harris Crowley, they both have the discs in the shape of the Tree of Life, which I think is just fabulous. Mercury in Virgo, here we have all of the signs. Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, right? Now let's go on to the court cards. Court cards, Princess of Discs, which is the Earth of Earth. It's He of He. The final He, right? And I hadn't been mentioning it, but we do continue with those geomantic forms, right? Okay. Page of Discs here is Winter. This is that mouth always disturbs me when I see it, but except for that mouth, this is a beautiful, I love the artwork in this deck, in the Tarot of the Holy Light. That mouth is probably going to disturb me until the day I pass out of physical form. But I love everything. I love the dragon down here. I love the drum. I love everything here. I love the Harris Crowley image as well. This is so rich of Earth manifesting here, pointing down power to manifest from the Earth. And we have the solid cube behind the page here in the Pontifex Tarot. Okay, so we've got the Knights. The Knight here is associated with Leo. The Knight here, is associated with Virgo. Silly boy. Virgo. And here, I think this is probably Taurus. Yes, this is Taurus in the Crowley deck. The Queen of Discs, I love that Queen of Discs, is Capricorn, and Capricorn. So again, the queens are all lined up. Now here we have the first He and the water of Earth, first He and second He. Oh, I hadn't noticed that. So, first He, fire. Oh, interesting. So, for me, the Knights are in this kind of system are air of Earth, but here it's fire of Earth, which I don't really like personally. For me, the Knights are air, the Kings are fire. Just saying. Okay, so the Queens, and here we have the King of Earth, which for me this is fire of Earth, the Knight of Discs, which is the King for the Thoth, the Harris Crowley deck to me. This is the King. This is the King, which is air of Earth, which I do not agree with personally. And then we have the King, Taurus, and this one is what is that? It's Capricorn. Not Capricorn, Virgo. This is Virgo, which kind of makes sense for the King. Well, actually, it makes more sense for the Knight to me. Now, the Knight being Virgo, moving slowly, moving forward, doing the work bit by bit, right? The slowest Knight of the pack, kind of Virgo, organize things. Taurus moves at their own pace. They're in charge of themselves, right? Okay, friends, so that is what these three decks are, and I still have not figured out what this card is. This is clearly not the Ace of Swords. I don't know. We'll have to, I need to do some studying, clearly. I hope this has been meaningful for you. I hope this video has shown you something and that it has given you some interest in perhaps getting this deck and doing the study and maybe even the teaching that this deck can help us with to join the systems of Tarot. Yeah? I think it's an important deck. as a tool for teaching, for studying, and also probably for reading. I haven't gotten that far yet. Now we got color associations here. There's so much. So friends, let me know what you think. What do you think about this deck? And if you have remained through to the end, thank you. Thank you for hitting the thumbs up button. Thank you for subscribing. If you want a reading from me, my email address is below, or just let me know in the comments. I want a reading. We'll get you a reading. And now, as always, I wish you love, joy, well-being, and pure awareness. Thank you.